Sandra from Asexualise.com, author of Asexual Perspectives, out on Amazon. Asexual Dating, Asexual Break-up. This is a video that I really, sorry, I'm getting really emotional, didn't want to do. So, it's really difficult for me. So, I don't think I can do it. Oh God. I'm not sure I can even do it. Okay. So this is a video I didn't want to do. I split up with the guy that I was with, the asexual guy, on Sunday. I didn't really have much choice, but I had to end it and be the one to be the man about it, because he pretty much didn't want to be with me anymore anyway. I don't really know what happened. So the guy I was seeing, he was so into me. He pushed me to be his girlfriend. He was like messaging me, saying how much he loved me. He told me he loved me. So I hope I don't scare you off when I say that. That was even before we got in a relationship. I said, no, I'm a hyper-romantic, so I understand it. He was saying we were born to be together. He was smitten with me. He was so into me. He couldn't get enough of me. He couldn't wait to see me because he was supposed to be coming to see me this weekend. He was crazy about me. I made him so happy. He was glad he was a hyper-romantic, glad he was asexual, glad he was with me, that he loved me so much. He was like messaging me loads, and when we video chat for hours, he loved it, and his face lit up, and you know, he couldn't believe it. It's like, oh wow, this is amazing. You know, we both thought we got on so well. Everything was great, and he always kept saying to me, I will always make you feel loved, special, wanted and needed. And he told me to take a chance and a risk on being his girlfriend, and I wasn't ready. You know, I wanted to wait till I saw him in person, which was going to be a month later, till I decided whether to be with him or not. And he's like, well, he already started calling me his girlfriend before I'd even agreed to it. And then because I said, oh, you told a friend, like, I'm your girlfriend? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, well, we act like boyfriend and girlfriend anyway already, so why not? And it took me a little while, and he was convincing me that life's too short, take a risk and everything. So, you know, I took a chance on the 1st of October, and that was a really brave move for me, because I have relationship anxiety, which he knew about. He knew I had a lot of fears and insecurities with all the mental, emotional and physical abuse I had in the past. And he knew all that about me. Sorry, it's really difficult to do this video. And he knew all that about me, and he made me feel like we were so meant to be together forever. He said that he was on about that he would come and live down here, you know, and I'm like, well, what's going to happen with all your friends and the football you go to? He's like, oh, my friends will still be my friends. I can go to by train to the football to London, and I can stay in a hotel there, be fine. And he said, and if I come down, well, when I come down and live there, he said that if you want to go out anytime, just ring me, and even if I'm watching football, it doesn't matter, because you're more important. I'll always put you first. That's much more important than doing football. And he was just amazing, you know. I thought he was my dream guy. I really, really did. I gave him a lot of care and attention. I fell more and more in love with him, and I spent more and more time chatting to him and stuff. And he was supposed to be coming to see me this weekend, and we're going to be going to fireworks together, and the cinema together, and the donkey sanctuary, and out for meals and stuff. And I was kissing, and yeah, I really loved him and cared about him. But and the biggest thing ever was I was going to stay in the same hotel as him. I was going to take a suitcase and stay there with him for 4 nights and 5 days, when I'd never met him in person. And I explained how it's important for us to video chat more in the lead up to obviously being together, and that there was a lot of things I had to deal with, which I accepted about him, which is different, you know, because he's older than the type of guy I'd usually go for. He was in a wheelchair, so I came to terms with that quite quickly. obviously that I still had to get used to seeing him in that. He was a bigger guy, he had tattoos, so that was kind of like very different from the ascetic look I'd had before, was attracted to before, the guys I've been before, which are thinner guys, guys in their 20s, you know, and you know, I'm normally attracted to Indian guys and other foreign guys, but he had a beautiful foreign face. I was so attracted to his face and stuff. I told him a lot of personal stuff about me, and yeah, I thought everything was good, and I really loved him, and I gave a lot of time and attention to him as he was doing with me, I thought, and I thought everything was going so well, and you know, I thought though, you know, being in a hotel room with a guy I don't know, it's going to be quite scary, you know. It's not something I would recommend any asexual or sexual person to do, to just be in a hotel room with someone, even if they are asexual, you know, because you don't know 100% what they're like. But obviously by video chatting it helped a lot, and we used a video chat through the night, and he said he enjoyed that, and he couldn't believe how amazing it was and how well we got on, and his life was so good. So obviously I did that more with him because he liked it, I thought, and everything was going well, I thought. But you know, I wanted to make sure, because I got a lot of anxiety and fears about staying in a hotel with someone. I did say that obviously I can't even sleep in a bed with someone usually, but with his disability and with the fact my place was like, you know, about 25 minutes, half an hour away, you know, and I'd probably want to stay with him because we loved each other so much and wanted to be close and spend time together, kissing, cuddling and stuff. I thought it'd be really good. So yeah, I thought everything was amazing. People in my group, well, one guy in my group couldn't believe how he changed either, because he was besotted with me. He wanted, basically in the beginning, like me and him to be all across social media together, pictures all the time together. He used to post in the groups about me and how wonderful I was and how much he loved me, and he said on Twitter that I was a girl of his dreams and everything. He put that in his profile. What else? Oh yeah, he was already planning Valentine's Day and my birthday. I didn't ask him to, he just took that on board himself, and he didn't even, to be fair to me, he didn't even ask me am I doing anything. He just assumed that I'd want to see him, you know. But I just let him get on with that. He's already booked to the hotel to come over for Christmas, and my mum, I was going to pay for us to have a meal together on Boxing Day, so we were going to go over my mum's for Christmas. But he hadn't actually told his mum that, which that was one of the red flags I was a bit worried about. He said, oh, I want to tell her in person, but that was a little bit red flaggy for me. He can get money back on the hotel anyway. So yeah, it was like, that's, you know, he was like my dream guy. I thought it was a bit too good to be true, but then he kept saying he thought that about me. He kept saying, always like, pinch yourself, but he thought we were made to be together, born to be together, and soulmates, and everything was wonderful. So I trusted him on that, and you know, but I do have some trust issues, so I didn't Google him, you know. If there's, you know, I've given advice to you guys before about dating, you know, you must video chat with them before you meet them in person. You should Google them, you know. You should find out as much as you can about this person, about their friends, about what they're like and stuff before you meet the person, especially as I was given all this trust, like actually sharing a bed with this guy and stuff I was going to do. But he said he could sleep in his wheelchair if there's a problem, and I said I could go back to mine, so it's still like a get out clause if things weren't, you know, it might not have been that it didn't work out. It might have just been that obviously I needed some time to sleep in my own bed, because I can't really sleep because I got a fibromyalgia as well. I can't really sleep in the same bed as someone. It's quite difficult for me. But I loved him so much, and I felt quite natural so far with him in that way. So I told him a while ago to Google me. I said, Google me, you know, because I don't take it for granted that everyone's going to trust me, but people usually do, which is, you know, genuine people usually do, and it's really nice. But I said, Google me, and then a few days ago I Googled him. And I hadn't done that before, and I'm like, why haven't you done that before, Sandra? Because you're going to be staying in a hotel room with this guy, and it's really important that you do that. So I Googled him, and I was honest. I told him the next day. I mean, all I really found different was a couple of MySpace profiles. One was a bit weird because he looked very different. He was like wearing dangly earrings that made him look very feminine, and the glasses and stuff. But and there's a weird picture on there as well. But I don't know if that's something that he put on there or something they did. It was like a bedroom which looked a bit sinister. But it might have been out of a movie or something, or it might have just been something that MySpace put on there, and he hadn't used it for years anyway. And there was a couple of girls he was he was attached to, and one of them, one looked a bit sexual, but you know, hey ho, that's years ago, right? Doesn't really matter. But so, you know, and I know he's got, you know, female friends, and I was asking him, I was saying about female friends, and he said, oh yeah, I've known one 14 years, and I said, oh, that's good, you know, it means you're a good guy if you've been friends with someone that long. You know, I even got talking about football. I absolutely hate football, and I was even trying to support him on that when his team didn't win and all that type of thing. And what else? Oh yeah, he said he wanted to be involved in my businesses, let me know and I can help you. He said he wanted to make me part of his family app for downloading music. He wanted to make me part of that. And even recently he said that you know, he hoped by this time next year that he would be living down here. So all this, I thought I was pretty secure in the relationship. I had some fears about being alone with him because obviously I'd never met him in person before. There was a lot of psychological stuff I had to overcome with the difference in aesthetics and stuff like that, and also the disability that I would need to get more used to. But he never tracked his disability, and that's what I loved about him. I found him so inspirational when I met him, because his chair's like just a part of him, and he's very independent, and I loved all that about him. So there was a lot of stuff I thought was really good, and I just thought we got on so well, like bestest friends, and I thought we loved chatting to each other and spending a lot of time together because we're like bestest mates. And I tried to involve him a bit more in some of my business stuff, but he's got glaucoma as well, so he couldn't do the writing in the end, so I didn't get involved in stuff he couldn't do. I just sort of came to him with a few business sort of issues, and was, you know, sort of like thought it'd be nice to him to get involved and pick his brain a little bit, even though I'm quite capable of looking after all that stuff on my own because I've done it for years. So yeah, it was like our future was really sort of welded together. And then we had this conversation. I said I was a bit worried about in the hotel room because we talked about, we had this conversation about grey areas, and when I first met him he said he was nudity repulsed, and I said so am I, but I didn't realise he was nudity repulsed as in he doesn't like guys whatsoever, hates seeing them naked in changing rooms, stuff like that. With women he was like indifferent, so he's like, you know, porn doesn't do anything for him, but you know, he still, we had this conversation where with his exes, which has been in heterosexual relationships before, he was used to like doing stuff with the top half. Now I said to him that as when I first met him I didn't realise he had any grey areas, as I call them, any sexual behaviour. I just thought that he loved kissing. He said, oh yeah, all I'd want to do with you is kiss you and put my hands by your side. This is what he said in the beginning, so I was really comfortable with that because I like to keep my clothes on. I like some touching sometimes when I got to know a guy, and you know, but I don't, you know, I said to him, we had this conversation, I said, you know, I'm worried that you know, this stuff, he kept saying, right, in terms of being close, he kept saying, I just want you to be yourself, and all the time, even without the intimate stuff, he kept saying, I just want you to be yourself, you know, I just want you to be you. But it seems like in the end he didn't want me to be me. He wanted me to be the version of me that he wanted me to be, you know. So we were having this conversation, and I was asking what he'd done before and what he liked to do and what he liked done to him physically, minus the sex. So it was like below the waist was fine, nothing was going to happen there, and we both thought the passionate kissing without the sex is bliss, and that's what I thought, and that's what I loved. I did say though that I was worried because I experienced higher arousal levels as well, and I was worried about the kissing, that he might be a bit too strong for me because I'm not used to being with an older guy, and I'm not used to like the heterosexual guy I was with. I did pretty much all the work that I was dating him, not actually in a relationship with him. So I said it might be better if I take the lead a bit, so I feel a bit more in control of the situation in case it gets out of hand or whatever, you know, too much too soon. Because he was like lightning with everything. He was like, boom, I want you to be my girlfriend. Boom, take a risk. Oh, I'm doing your birthday. You know, I've got Chris. You know, I'm coming to see you in November. Boom, I'm coming to do that. You know, planning Valentine's Day. I might take you somewhere else. Boom, I'm coming for your birthday. I'm getting that planned already. It was like boom, boom, boom. Like, and I plan to move down here. It's going to take me a while, but you know, this is where I'm going to be at like next year. It was very like lightning speed. I like the fact that it was manly man, like in some ways, in the fact that he took control of the situation a little bit, which I wasn't used to. He sort of took the lead, and it's very much like we were intertwining each other's lives. And then, but he was soft, gentle, kind and caring at the same time. Now, I loved that about him, but it seems that wasn't the real him in the end. He was more of the manly man and less of the sensitive, kind, caring soul that he had portrayed to me, sadly. So, yeah, it's been really tough. And so with the physical stuff, I said that I was worried that he's going to be too sexual for me, as in that I like to keep my clothes on, my top half, and maybe sometimes I might like that off, but predominantly, especially to start off with, I would like to keep my clothes on, you know. And that seemed to be like, I found out after that he was going cold with me, and I'm like, what's the problem? He avoiding video chat and phone calls. And then when we did talk, he said he was worried that I was worried that he was going to be too sexual for me. But that doesn't make sense, because as a person I was worried about, all he would have to do is say, well, I can control myself, you know, in terms of kissing if it gets out of hand. And he did say to me, actually, well, we can cuddle, it's not a problem. And I thought that was great. I thought it was a good solution, because not many, you know, heterosexuals will say that. And I thought it was a great solution. But then after that, he was still worried about it. But as I was worried about him being a bit too sexual with me, all he needed to do would be to control himself in that way. If there was a problem, I mean, heterosexual guys control themselves all the time. You know, the guy who was with me, he controlled himself, and he was highly sexual for years, you know. So there's no reason why a guy can't control himself with kissing. No, I loved passionate kissing, but I was just a little bit concerned because he's bigger than me, and, you know, stuff like that. So I think it's fair to air my concerns and just talk about them. That's what a mature adult relationship is about. Airing your concerns, talking about them in a constructive manner, saying we can do this, we can do that, the cuddling. And I thought that was fine, but it didn't stop there. He was still worried that I was worried, but that's just basically means he was worried. And anyway, so yeah, I watched these. I've been trying to improve my dating skills, my own personal dating skills, and try to become a better person in a relationship. And I've been watching a lot of the online dating coaches, and I mentioned to him the other day that one of the dating coaches said, yeah, the test of a relationship sort of is like if you ask to see their text messages. I mean, any guy should be happy for you to see his text messages, because obviously you have nothing to hide. So if you're, you know, if you're in a relationship and you're thinking, is this guy genuine, serious? It should be, yeah, check messages. They should have no problem with that. And I've got a friend at work, and him and his girlfriend been together 8 years, you know, and they're happy to check each other's messages. Now, I have to tell you that I don't think I've ever checked messages, or if I have, I can't remember doing it in the past. And I was with guys who had affairs, and if I'd have checked their messages, actually, I probably found out a lot quicker that they were having affairs. But I don't even think I ever did that. But I just mentioned this to him. I didn't say I wanted to check his messages. I didn't ask to check his messages. I just said this to him, right? And he immediately said he didn't like it, okay? When I mentioned it, so that's not nice, to be like, you don't trust me, right? But before that, prior to that, he said, all I can do on the trust issue is keep reassuring you. That's all I could do. I know you've got trust issues. It's not a problem. All I can do is keep reassuring you, tell you I love you, want to make you feel loved, happy and special, right? So I just mentioned it, right? And that was like, you know, that was like, I don't know, things happened so quickly. So that was like a little time before. And then on this Sunday, I just suddenly came to the real, I was talking to my mum, and I just, you know, and the day before, on the Saturday, yeah, I'd gone round Sainsbury's, and I'd bumped into my cousin who I hadn't seen for years. And I hadn't seen her. We spent some time talking. I had a problem with one of my asexual groups. Someone had been inappropriate in it. I had to sort that out. So I'm messaging, trying to do my shopping. And when I go around Sainsbury's, I like to chill, because when I'm at home, I'm kind of working all the time. I like to go around Sainsbury's shopping, chilling, and if I can, you know, get a new food, it's kind of bliss for me, because I've got such a restrictive diet. And it's really weird. So then when I was talking to him about it afterwards, I mean, I've been messaging him in between going to the job centre, because I'm a redundant at the moment, and that's another story. And then I've got, you know, going shopping and everything. I was texting him and other people back, my friends as well. Yeah, it's really weird. So on the Friday night, that was a Friday night I went shopping. Yeah, sorry, it was a Friday night I went shopping, and I'd seen my cousin and everything. And then when we had a chat, he was like, oh, well, you know, I'm not like that. I just like to go in and out and get what I want, you know. And it was quite aggro with the fact that, seemed to be quite aggro with the fact that I'm like that. And he said, well, I said, well, it's not like to happen unless we go shopping together. There's going to be a problem. And he's like, oh, I don't like people chatting in the aisles, stood there. It's like a death hazard. And I'm like, okay, when they're blocking the aisles. I didn't say I was blocking the aisles. He didn't ask me if I was blocking the aisles, but he just said he's seen people doing that. And, you know, that's him. I can't be the same as him. I'm never going to be. So he was on about that if we ever meet up to do shopping, I'll put up with it. You know, I'll put up with it. I mean, I don't want a guy who's going to come around shopping with me begrudgingly. You know, it's not really nice. So I got quite upset. That's the first time I became a little bit unhappy in the relationship. because I was thinking, well, I'm not going to be made like that. It's not who I am. And I wanted him to understand me. I wanted him to understand. I was actually looking for Christmas presents for him as well. So, you know, and then this is the Saturday. Don't forget, I saw my cousin that day. And the next that's a Friday, sorry. And then the Saturday, he was having a conversation about wanting all of a sudden about because I was spending a lot of time talking, video chatting with him more and more, and I was having some my websites have been hacked, so some of them asexualise.com is kind of like non-existent at the moment. I need to rebuild it because I have some issues with some of my other websites, but that's been affected, so sorry about that. And it wasn't hacked, but some files were mixed in with some others that I had to delete. So yeah. Basically, on a Saturday, he then started saying about having time apart, and he was saying it like, first of all, he was saying like, it's good for you for your business. But then it's the way he said everything else in succession. I'm like, hang on a minute, this is not just for my business. Like, oh, it's good to have time apart. He started saying like, oh, you need to be seeing your friends more. And I'm like, well, my friend that's here, most of my friends are online. My friend that's here, she's busy at the moment. You know, I've got stuff to do. She's got stuff to do. Oh, you need to speak to your mum. It's like I was speaking to my mum anyway. I hadn't stopped speaking to my mum. It's like you know, you need to do this, that, and the other. It's good to spend time apart. It's good to, you know, it's healthy in relationships, blah, blah, blah. I'm a guy who likes to go out with my mates to the football. I never stopped to go out with his mates to the football. But I said, well, when I'm with my friends, I switch my phone off. It's just weird that he, all of a sudden, he used to, when he was trying to get into a relationship with me, is all of a sudden, and in the relationship, was like, that football's not as important as you. And then all of a sudden at football, he said he got a bad signal there anyway. I don't really expect him to text me in the middle of a football match, right? But it's just kind of his attitude changed a little bit on that. You know, but I mean, he saw his brother, he did, because I asked him the other day, I said, what's changed since you've been in a relationship with me? He said, nothing, I still see people, I do everything. So nothing had changed, so that confirmed the fact that it was a good relationship. You know, he'd obviously got enough space to do everything. This was before he said about having space and time apart. I asked him, you know, what his life's like, and it's like, it hasn't really changed. You know, I see my friends, brother, go, you know, watch some, you know, because I was asking what he did before he met me. And he said his life's pretty much the same. So I knew already that he confirmed that there was not any issues really with his life changing, apart from he was making time for me. So, which he said he had to do in a relationship anyway. So I had already had it confirmed that there was no issues there with that before when he said that, unless there was something he wasn't telling me. So yeah, then he was on about time and space apart, you know, and it was just the way he was saying everything. And bear in mind, on the Friday, I'd seen my cousin, and he hadn't been happy that he wasn't happy that I spent so long a time in a supermarket, in terms of, he didn't say I couldn't do it or was bad about me doing it, but it's the way his attitude was about the fact that I spend all that time doing it. You know, he didn't say, oh, it's so nice you've been looking for Christmas presents for me, you're really sweet, sweetheart. You know, he didn't say it's wonderful of you to see your cousin after you haven't seen her for years, when the next day is telling me to spend more time with my friends, see my mum. Do you know what I mean? These things don't really add up. And then he started going, I posted something on his Facebook, which was like a loving message, and he didn't respond immediately. Now, you can't always respond immediately, right? Okay, but there was some time that went by when he could have responded. And when he's in groups before, he's always messaging really quickly back, he's always on the ball. Then all of a sudden he say, I don't know what to put. Now, okay, you can't reply to it because you're busy doing something, right? But the fact he said he didn't know what to put was really alarm bells ringing. I'm like, you've never had a problem before. And then he started saying, oh, he's really quiet on social media. Like before, he's like, oh, you know, if your friends friend me, I'll just have them all as friends, which I thought was weird because it's nice to keep your own friends. I was the one who said it's nice to keep your own separate Facebook friends and stuff, you know. And you know, so I wanted to like keep some separate stuff, you know. It was just kind of all really weird. And so anyway, on the Saturday, he was on about all this space, and I thought, hang on a minute, the next day when I was talking to my mum on the Sunday, I was like thinking, like, I've been video chatting with him more lately. I've been one instigating phone calls. He did it twice. He instigated that with me before saying, are you free for like a chat? You know, and it was kind of like I was beginning to feel like I was doing all the work in the relationship. I was trying to sort any issues out. I was trying to sort any problems out, and all of a sudden I felt something's really wrong in this relationship now. So I messaged him, saying I'm not happy, I'm not feeling happy anymore. The text had changed. Instead of it being crazy about me, really into me, really happy, that had all changed. It was less of that. It's more like just kisses and stuff. And I'm like, hang on a minute, things have changed. I can see a change in your behaviour. You know, on social media, you kind of say, oh, I'm a quiet guy. And I'm like, well, that's not what you wanted before. You know, you wanted us plastered all over the internet together with pictures and everything like that. Yeah, it was all getting a bit like opposites. So yeah, this is kind of weird. And then anyway, I said on that Sunday I wasn't feeling happy and good about it. And then literally I said, I don't want to be in a hotel with someone who's not loving me the rest of the time, not loving towards me, which is a fair enough thing to say, right? So yeah, and then it was also, I'm not feeling good either. I'm having doubts about us, which was the first time I actually heard him say that. Then all of a sudden, you know, I said, well, you know, I feel on video chat with you and everything. I said, you know, have you got another woman? Because when a guy goes sort of like full on into someone, then full on like wanting time and space apart to do their own thing, when I'd already confirmed with him several days before that his life hadn't really changed. And, you know, and all is like, oh, I'm really like sort of extrovert, placid over social media. Then he doesn't want to reply to my message, like public stuff anymore. It's like all a bit weird, isn't it? And then it's like, I want to be close to you, and then it's all a bit like he's worried that I'm worried about sexual stuff, and it's like kind of like he sent me a message about a video, about diversification video, that he was a bit worried about and concerned about. And then it's kind of like, it seemed like he may be confused about his grey areas, asexual grey areas, or I said, well, I'm not confused about whether you're heterosexual basically or not. Maybe you are, you know. But I'm pretty sure he was asexual, well, definitely. But I think he had grey areas, so which seemed quite compatible, really. I like to keep my top on, as long as you respect to that. I don't see the problem, but maybe that was a problem. So yeah, it was just really weird. It went from talking about a video, he's confused, so I tried to explain that. And yeah, it was just really weird. He came, when he did speak to him on the phone, he wouldn't video chat with me. He said that he basically started saying about, if I asked to see his text messages, like this was it. If I asked to see his text messages when he comes down, then you know, if that's what I want to do, then I'm not, you know, he said that he will bolt, as in he will leave. And I can believe it. I'm like, what? This is completely out of the blue. And I said, well, you know, then you've obviously got something to hide if that's what you're saying. Bear in mind, I hadn't actually asked him to do that, but that's what he was thinking. And he goes, I've got nothing to hide, but the fact that you're even thinking, you know, would ask me about it means you don't trust me. Without trust in a relationship, there is no relationship, so there's no relationship. Now, bear in mind, I'd agreed to spend 4 nights and 5 days with this guy in a hotel room, in the same bed. If that isn't trust, then I don't know what the heck is, right? Because most sexual women, heterosexual women, would even be worried or concerned about that, you know? And they would probably maybe not even do that. Maybe they would if they want sex, but I didn't want sex, he didn't want sex. So yeah, that is giving him ultimate trust. And I've knocked through a lot of barriers. I've reduced my relationship anxiety. I mean, he's in a WhatsApp group that, you know, he tells me they post porn and stuff. It doesn't interest him. I accepted that. He's got friends, women friends for years. I accept that. You know, I just like, pfft. And if he's got women friends and all he's doing is having general conversations with them, he shouldn't, you know. I said, I can't believe, he goes, basically he said, if you're going to ever ask me about seeing my messages, then I'm not the man for you. And basically he will leave me. Now, I knew then that his love wasn't genuine, it is so shallow, and I wasn't prepared to be emotionally blackmailed or threatened, that if I ever did that in a relationship, he would leave me. You know? I mean, why? I said, I don't understand why over a few text messages, if I asked you that, what the problem would be, and why you'd leave me just over seeing a few text messages. He goes, well, it's confidential stuff. I said, well, you know, because I said you can see anything of mine apart from the confidential stuff I do with my groups and stuff, obviously. But, you know, and he goes, well, I wouldn't ask you to because I trust you. I said, yeah, but I'm not you, you know? I'm not you. Just like you're not me. And there's other people that are quite happy to do that in relationships. And I don't see the point unless you are hiding something. He's like, oh, I've got nothing to hide, like the principle of the matter type thing. And it's like, 1, I never actually asked him to. 2, he got alarming over the fact that even the mention of it. And 3, he would like come down for the whole weekend and leave me over this one thing. I knew then, so when a guy threatens anything like that, right, they threaten that if you ever do this in a relationship, I will leave you. That puts them in ultimate control. And they then become a controller of you, an abuser, right? It's really horrible to say because I didn't think this guy was that type of person. But if you picture it as a car and you've got the automatic gear stick, right? As soon as that person threatens you with something like that if you ever do this, I will leave you, right? Because he knows I had abandonment issues from the past, which he said he did. That just shoves them right into that, you know, automatic drive. That they now own you, they control you, because anytime you ask something that they don't like, they will leave you. That is a controlling person. And then I said, anything else you want to say? Oh yeah, you're clingy and I don't do clingy. Now bear in mind, he was the one who pushed me into being his girlfriend. He was the one who used to message me, I'm crazy, smitten with you and all the rest of it. And I didn't even love him in the beginning. I had some love feelings for him very quickly, but I didn't love him and he knew that. He loved me, I didn't love him. And he was like pushing to be his girlfriend and telling me take a chance. And he was messaging me all the time and really happy we were spending hours together, even though sometimes I said to him, look, I got like half an hour to talk to you, then I need to get on with my work. You know, he was still carrying on the conversation just like I was, which I would take responsibility for my part in that, you know? And it's like, hang on a minute. And as soon as he said that about being clingy, with all the stuff he did, I thought, you just don't love me for who I am anymore. All this talk about be yourself, consistently, that's one of his sayings. I just want you to be you. And then when we were talking about intimate stuff, he goes, I just want you to express yourself. And he kept going on about that, like I wasn't sexually expressing myself enough. It's like, yeah, I am sexually expressing myself enough. I don't mind you touching me in some places, but I don't want to take my top off. So anyway, as soon as he said that, I'm like, I'm not having that, you know. I've got guys who would love to be with me, you know, and I value my worth. Oh yeah, that's the other thing he said. He said just prior to the clingy bit, he said, I said, oh, so you're breaking up with me then if you're saying there's no relationship without trust. He goes, oh no, I don't know about that. He goes, I need time and space to decide that. Again, control. So threaten to leave me if I ever ask him that. I'll decide whether I want to be with you or not. You're clingy after all his previous behaviour would be too much for a lot of women to handle. I told you, I kept saying that to him. You're like fast like lightning. One of his favourite characters is Flash, you know. I'm like, you're boom, boom, boom. You know, any other stuff would be too much for a woman. But I accept that because he's a hyper-romantic. And hyper-romantics get like messaging and lots, get phoning lots, chatting lots, into each other very quickly. It's a trait that we have. And I've not met another hyper-romantic. But he was even faster than I was, you know, with all the love stuff. So yeah, so as soon as he said that to me about being clingy, I said, well, if you don't love me for who I am, I'm not saying I was clingy, but if that's what he views me as, because obviously he doesn't obviously like the text messaging and phoning like he did before for some reason. Maybe it's because I wasn't going to be doing the physical stuff with him in a hotel, which is why heterosexuals lose interest and stop the lovey-dovey stuff. If you're not going to have sex with them, maybe it's because I wasn't going to be getting my top off or something. I don't know. I mean, what's he got to hide in the text messages? That you know, it's just really weird. Anyway, so as soon as he said about being clingy, I said, if you don't love me for who, or like me for who I am, then I'm ending the relationship now. Goodbye and have a good life, you know, and that was it. And I know this has been a really long video, but it's been really difficult for me to, you know, to explain it, because I had to show that how good he was with me in the beginning, how much I loved him, adored him, and thought he was amazing. And, you know, and that person he portrayed to me was great, but the sudden turnaround in all the behaviour and the attitude towards me and everything was just really phenomenally mind-blowing. I'm still a bit shocked as to how a guy would go from that to that. I mean, I'm used to more heterosexuals behaving like that because, you know, if they're not getting what they want physically, then they will reduce all the lovey-dovey stuff because there's nothing to keep them in the relationship anymore being that way. They've got me right where they want me. If they're not getting what they want out of the relationship physically, then they kind of go like that, you know. But I wasn't expecting that from an asexual guy, and I wasn't expecting that from him. I did give him a lot of trust. I was going to be in a hotel room with him, you know. I mean, that's the first time I've ever said that to anyone in my life. So it's pretty devastating, you know, pretty devastating. He'll never talk to me again, I know that. He told me he was done with before, so I guess it's all about that, isn't it? You know, that's fine. I'm sure he'll have a good life, which I hope he does for him. And I need to get on with mine now and heal. And luckily I've had a lot of asexual friends and stuff that have been helping me to do that. So I've had guys interested in me romantically straight away as soon as they knew I was single. But, you know, I'm taking my time. I don't want to rush into anything with anyone. But I'm glad I valued my worth enough to know that I would not be controlled by any guy ever again. And I will not be. I will not be. I don't care how much I love them, how much emotional investment they led me into being with them. And I put myself out there, you know. And will I give up on love? No. But I am going to take some breathing space out to just, you know, look after me more at the moment and sort of do some other stuff, self-dating and stuff. I will never give up on love, because that's what these people want you to do. The people that come into your life and don't treat you the way you deserve to be treated. You know, you value your worth. You know, I wasn't prepared to stay with someone like him who just never valued my worth after that. You know, it's ridiculous. I'm not going to struggle for wanting to speak to a person when I've got people that want to speak to me, people that love to be in a relationship with me, people who love to talk to me and care about me genuinely. I'm not going to put up with that. And that's a good thing now, because in the past I would have put up with that. In the past I would have gone, oh, I'm so upset, I'm so emotional. Yes, you know what, I'm my ex, right, for 8.5 years, 10 days it took him to decide whether to be with me or not, and he was a controller and an abuser. I will never ever accept that from anyone ever again. I'm an open book. If any guy wants to get in a relationship with me, if I'm interested in them, they can Google me and all sorts of stuff. I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to hide, and I'm completely honest. One of my friends, he couldn't believe it that we'd split up. He said, but you are so loyal to him. And I said, yeah, I know, because I get loads of guys interested in me, but as soon as I'm with someone in a relationship, I'm like telling the guys, you know, like, we just be friends now, not that they're sending me kisses and stuff and everything. Like, maybe I should just be like every other woman, yeah, and just lap it all up, you know, and just think, what the hell, you know. But, you know, I just have, like, you know, I'm a very monogamous person, you know. Anyway, thanks all for everyone who's been in my groups and stuff. He removed himself from the group straight away that I was in. So thanks ever so much for all your support, your love and care. Thanks for being here for me. I wished I could tell you asexual dating was easier than heterosexual dating, but I can't. It's very, very hard. All I can say is do value your worth. Do love yourself, and do be you, and don't, you know, even though people are trying to tell you to be you, and then they're basically being horrible when you are being yourself, and maybe they're trying to force you to be the you they want you to be, don't, just be you. And if they don't like it, as much as it hurts you to, you know, have that whole, well, have the heart broken again, just remember you are a super strong person, and you will get over it, and you eventually will meet a good person. If you don't, the best person you can be is with yourself, you know. Don't settle for second best, and get someone who really values your worth in the long term, not the short term. Someone who loves you for you, not someone who loves you for the fame you've got, the friends you've got, what you can do for them. Just someone who really values you for you, and who treats you with respect, and who appreciate you spending a lot of time with them, messaging and phoning them when you could be doing 55,000 other things to do, you know. And who really, you know, it means what they say. Really means what they say. Anyway, I will have some more videos about asexual dating. This has been the hardest video I've done for a long time. I love you all dearly. Thanks for staying with me till the end of this video. Take care. Bye. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. I really appreciate the support, because it's been a really hard video, but I've been doing it to help you guys as well. Please subscribe below if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit that bell button so you get notifications every single time I post a new video. Please share it with your friends. The more we can spread awareness of asexuality, the better. And until next time, embrace your quirky and each other's. Bye bye.